I never thought I'd see my father again, let alone at my younger brother's wedding, but there he was, standing at the back of the reception hall, wearing the same cologne he used to spray before abandoning us 12 years ago. My stomach twisted as I tried to focus on my brother and his radiant bride, but every toast, every laugh seemed to echo the gap our father had left behind. When I was 16, he left with no explanation, just a short note on the kitchen counter and a gaping silence that swallowed our family whole. My mother worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. I became the default parent, and my brother Danny grew up thinking all men vanished when things got hard. The wedding was supposed to be a fresh start for Danny, but as I watched Dad hover at the edge of the crowd, guilt and fury battled in my chest. After the first dance, fueled by champagne and a decade of unresolved pain, I cornered him outside by the smoking area. The night air was thick with the scent of cut grass and cigarettes. He looked older, fragile, but my anger wouldn't let me soften. "Why are you here?" I spat, voice trembling. He tried to explain something about regret, about wanting to see Danny happy, but I interrupted, my words tumbling out, about missed birthdays, about mom's tears, about how I learned to tie a tie from YouTube instead of him. He apologized, voice breaking, but it felt like too little too late. I realized I'd been rehearsing this confrontation for years, but no speech could fill the hole he'd left. Then, unexpectedly, Danny appeared, drawn by our raised voices. He saw us, eyes wide, and suddenly it wasn't just my pain but his too, surfacing in the middle of his happiest day. Tears streaming down his face, Danny screamed at Dad, not for leaving but for showing up now, as if a single appearance could erase the scars. The three of us stood there, broken and exposed, while inside the music played on. Later, my brother and I sat in silence on the curb, tuxedo jackets draped over our shoulders. We watched Dad get into his car and drive away once more, swallowed by the darkness. It hurt, but this time it felt like a chapter closing rather than a wound reopening. For the first time, Danny and I talked openly about everything we'd bottled up: the resentment, the loss, the way we'd both learned to survive. We promised each other that our own families would be different, present, honest, and fiercely loyal. The wedding was never about Dad, but somehow his presence forced us to face the past and finally start healing. When we rejoined the party, the weight felt lighter. Maybe forgiveness wasn't possible, but moving forward finally was.